Hello everyone, welcome back to part 6 of Onimusha Warlords. It's Boomer First Class here. Again, we're doing post-commentary for this part, as I said in the previous video, but we're going to enter the fortress here and deal with the next boss coming up, which is Nui, which is the big insect lady that we may have dealt with prior to, you know, the stuff with Yumimaru and stuff. But first off, we're going to pick up the Great Bow, which is set up in a scenario that, if you've played many video games, you know this is certainly a flag coming up. But we managed to get the Great Bow here, and now we can obviously get trapped in. Yeah, the setup is too easy just to pick up the bow, wasn't it? Of course, but Samanosuke is now trapped in with these insect dudes, and yeah. So, bit of a cutscene just talking about stuff going on. Let's just say the next portion of the game is, again, another brief Kaede segment coming up. Some extra goodies we pick up along the way here to summarise just overall what's going on, but as I say, I've bashed on the Kaede portions enough. It is what it is. You just got to get through it and move on with your day. But we're getting close to the end of the game now. Like this is pretty much the last big portion of the game, I would say, before you enter like the section of no return. And Kaede kind of just gets this weird premonition that something's not quite right here before some insect attacks. I don't know if they try to imply that Kaede just senses that Samanosuke is in trouble, or if she saw that, you know, some weird movement in the water. But either way, we have to deal with some bugs now as Kaede. They're a little annoying, just because the way they jump onto the actual bridge, they block off the entire section, so you have to knock them down before you can carry on and actually zoom past them. Because once again, you can't get souls to them, so there isn't really much point to fighting them except for sheer convenience factor, I suppose. But with the Sacred Knife this time around, the Kaede section is a lot more manageable. Thank goodness for that. It's still annoying, like I said, because Kaede's range is kind of weird as well. Like, because she's got only like a dinky little shinobi dagger. It means that you have to get right close. Thankfully, the one thing about Kaede's close combat skills is she's pretty nippy. She's pretty fast. Like, so you don't really have much time to be punished for when you do attempt an attack. So you can get in some nice counter shots. And we have some ninja on ninja action right now, like actual ninja battles. But if you thought ninja battles were all about dashing about, throwing kunais, you know, doing all this weird, you know, jutsu stuff, no, it's just as simple as just throwing some kunais at a dude, maybe stabbing him occasionally. Oh, well, he actually got a pot shot on me before that. I think I was trying to say, do I kill him in that instance, and then decided to just say, ah, fuck it. At which point, he got a bit of a pot shot on me, so that's my bad for being, you know, wishy-washy on, you know, my dedication to murder. But in this room, we find a statue at the east, as you saw in the previous part, was the statue of the west room. So this is pretty much like the opposite room for this. But in this section, we find another apocrypha book, or apocalypse book, which just gives more lore about the demon ceremonies and whatnot, providing more lore actually on the Demon King himself, which is going to be somebody we're seeing later. Just a little spoiler warning for you there. But yeah, if they're going to bring him up and mention him, then it's safe to say it's likely he might be up in the game later. But as we go back out into the next portion here, we find ourselves in a situation where we want to actually, you know, make sure we don't die, because again, Kaede's health is getting quite low, and I really do hate using healing items on Kaede, but we had so many at this point that I figured I don't think we're going to need that many to actually clear the Dark Realm or stuff going forward, so let's just use a herb or two on her. But again, because of how, you know, the combat sections really get with her, it's another valid reason on why you should really be running with Kaede, purely because she doesn't have much health, so the slightest hit she takes really just whittles away at her minuscule health, and then you don't want to die with Kaede, because obviously it's a game over. So you're left with this weird choice of, well, do I just heal her, or do I just take my chances? It gets better in future Onimusha games, but I don't understand why they thought like this was necessary to not only have once but also twice. It's just kind of one of these last minute inclusions, it feels like to me anyway. Like, we could have easily removed the Kaede sections from this game, and this game would have been practically seamless, I think. Maybe a bit shorter, maybe this is done to do padding, and it's not the worst kind of padding. You know, you definitely get some exclusive areas and some extra puzzles, so it's not like it's, oh, so terrible, you know, that I never want to experience this game ever again. It's just, when you've been playing as Samanosuke and you have all these abilities, and the combat's as nice as it is with Samanosuke, and you get back to Kaede, who really has no, like, there's no reason to, like, fight anything as her, and that's kind of the point of the game. You want to fight things and get souls, but you just can't. So it ends up being like, I'm here just to, well, just to fight for the sake of fighting and get through stuff, but when you actually play her kit, she's got really, like, a basic attack, you know, a jump and a kunai, so there's not much depth to her combat either. Like, you can't eat enemies the traditional way, so you can't, like, play the reactionary game. And, yeah, she's just kind of, I think if they really decided to flush out her kit more and maybe put more dedication into this aspect of the game, she could have been really fun, because obviously, she's a ninja. She's got loads of opportunity for, like, some great, you know, abilities, but yeah, it's a shame that they didn't try this again. I think going forward with Onimusha 3, they do something similar in Onimusha 2, because there is another ninja character in Onimusha 2, where because of the partner system in that game, it's a lot more flushed out, where the partners actually can absorb souls for you, and then once they finish their chapter, they hand it back to Jubei, and Jubei will just absorb the souls they took from them. So it does give you an incentive to fight with them, and they do actually all have their own, like, mechanics and fully fleshed out kit, which makes it feel like a fully playable character. Kaede just kind of feels like she's functional, but she's missing a few, like, bells and whistles. But anywho, back to we run through these few corridors here. It's essentially all this is, a few corridors. We're after a key just to get to the section with the boat. But we find a ladder up here, which I don't think I've actually ever been up here. I remember doing this when I was playing the game, and I was wondering, like, if I could remember actually ever going up here, because I don't remember ever getting all the books, and this might be one of the few books I actually don't find in my playthroughs. So this might be why, and I think this is the first time I may have actually ever gone in this room, because I saw the ladder, and I'm guessing I never thought twice about it in past playthroughs, because I do not remember this room at all. But we pick up the book, we pick up a piece of fluorite, and we're going to go back into the corridor. Because at this point, I have the idea that, well, I don't know when I'm going to be able to go back there, so let's go back with Kaede and get the treasure, and get the, you know, the Onimusha treasure box. Because I don't know when I'm going to be able to go back there, if at all, with Samanosuke. I figured I would be able to, but at the chance of, you know, old game design, with old game design, you do have to be really careful, because you never know when they put this, like, brick wall up on you, just say, nope, you can't go back there anymore. It was something that old game design was really fond of doing, with these points of no return or missing items. Like, they would give you the super useful item you might want, but you had to get it in a very specific time frame or a very, like, brief period, and if you didn't get it then, it was gone forever. I mean, that's an RPG staple that's always super annoying. I think a lot of the Tales games had, like, a lot of these side quests where you had no idea they were going on, and then you'd miss them forever, so you'd have to go get them in New Game Plus, but you got no, like, there was no obvious tell that those quests were going on. I think one of the Tales games that did that the most was, like, Tales of the Abyss was a real bugger for that, where you could do but then you just do your regular full playthrough, and then second playthrough you just end up using a walkthrough so you don't miss anything. That's the beauty of the internet and stuff. You can find these walkthroughs now just to fully help you. Like, back in the day, we'd have to rely on strategy guides, so yeah, the internet really did kill strategy guides for as an actual business for a lot of companies, which is a shame. I remember getting a lot of some piggyback guides for, like, Kingdom Hearts or Final Fantasy, you know, them telling you about the secrets and stuff you could do, and they'd even get information wrong, because of course they would. There was too much there to unpackage, and most of the time, piggyback were, like, as accurate as they could be. But I remember a strategy guide for Soul Calibur 2, actually, which gave you, like, you know, good combos for all the characters and that as well. But that's a different like, man, I don't think I've actually picked up the last strategy guide I think I had was for an Xbox 360 game. It was like a massive hardback cover for, like, I think it was Final Fantasy 13 strategy guide, which was a gift from my brother. It's just a beautiful strategy guide, though, absolutely beautiful strategy guide in terms of, like, you know, packaging and customization, and obviously had great tips and stuff. But yeah, the less said about Final Fantasy 13, the first game, the better. So, anywho, kill some archers, kill this lone soldier here. Like, eventually, like, it's so slow. Like, the basic enemy, you killed him in like 4 swings. But yeah, just really, I struggle to commentate on how bad Kaede is or how annoying she is to play as. So let's talk about this room here. This room is interesting because not only do we have this arrow here, of course, we also have these two dragons. You can tell on the door if you look at it. There's something not cool. There's that massive dragon posted on the door with its like claw up on there, which isn't actually pre-rendered. So if your eyes are savvy, you point out that if it's not a pre-rendered object, then it must be an actual object, of course. So the general point of that room is, if you pick up the arrow, the claws of the dragon lift up, locks the door. So you got to find something to replace it with. But what I also find interesting about that room is actually the treasure chest there is specifically a different colour from the majority of treasure chests in the game. I don't think there's another black treasure chest in the entire game. Not even for like some of the Dark Realm stuff where it's very special items. So that one particular treasure chest there, they decided just to randomly colour black. And all that's in it is the key to go forward. So I'm guessing they thought it was like, we must differentiate it to make sure it's to highlight to the player that it's a super important quest item that they can't forget. But when you complete the puzzle, it doesn't matter. And we have a treasure box here that actually has 7 moves you have to do. So one of the more tricky puzzle boxes, I think, for first timers. I don't know if I nail this one first time, but we'll see if past Boomer can actually he's really grinding his gears here. You can tell the cogs are wearing, but yeah, look at me. I don't think I get this one right the first time because I mess up on the 2. Yeah, you can see here I mess up. So yeah, I completely mess up. Don't think I'd get that one first time. This is, again, when you've got 7 moves, and there's just like a lot of jiggery pokery going on. But I think this takes me quite a few times because I think I recall that I recognise getting the 1 and the 5 on the far left is the easy bit, but it's this next bit here where I can get the 2 and the 6, but then it's obviously the last part here, and I slowly get there because it's like 2 to the left to get the 1 and the 5 socketed, and you don't need to move them ever again, and then it's getting the 3 and the 4 slotted just right. But the 3 and the 4 obviously have to be at the top. Now, I think with this attempt, I try and get, like, say, the 4 and the 8 sorted, but then I fail to get the 2 and the 3 at the right place. Actually, I don't. I actually get it right first time. I thought I had one where I failed to get the 2. I put the 2 all the way to the far right, but anyway, in the deck, you have to complete that treasure box because it does give you the decorated arrow, which is required to pass that challenge, that puzzle with the dragon and the arrow. So we do need to open that treasure box. So you can't avoid beating that puzzle if you plan to play this game and you hate those puzzles. Then you've got my guide here to give you that little easy fix. But that is one treasure box you do have to do. So back into the room with the arrow. We're obviously going to take the Great Arrow, which we need to progress forward into the Demon Realm. With the Great Bow, we could use this on the Great Bow. There is a manual, actually, or a journal article that you can pick up that does detail on the actual what the plan is. It has a samurai using the Great Bow, the Great Arrow to shoot an evil eye, and that's basically give you the hint of this is what you'll need to be finding to get through to the Demon World. But yeah, we open this. So I go back to show you that the black box won't open. You need some sort of special locker mechanism, which I'm guessing is why they colored it black. But again, you just put the arrow here. The dragon gods are pleased that they have their arrow back, or an arrow back, and then obviously the door unlocks again, and the treasure box unlocks. So they really, I think, put this here just to make sure that you do not mess this up for whatever reason, just to ensure that you get what you need to do. But it's almost like, well, if we have to get the Great Arrow to proceed anyway, so we can't miss it anyway. So do we really need the key? Do we really need the key as well? We need to get the Great Arrow anyway. So I guess they didn't want they didn't want it to be in a position where the player would forget to pick up the Great Arrow and I have to go all the way back because they missed that portion. So it's good design to have the locked key there, because if the player say if the player was rushing through to try and get to the Kaede portion as fast as possible, and they forget to pick up the Great Arrow because there's obviously no reason for them to be, there's no reason for them to be barred from progression, then yeah, they'd have to go all the way back, which would be annoying. So that's why the key is there, probably less for just it's a challenge or it's a puzzle for you to find Kaede. It's more just to ensure you go into that room and get the Great Arrow. But having a bit of trouble with the blue shield dudes here again. You can just throw kunai spam at them and they do go down quite nicely. So I'd say that's Kaede's most effective weapon is the kunai. It's a very solid choice of attack for a lot of enemies. But you know, this is actually going to be it for Kaede. Like, this is it. We've passed the challenge. We've got everything we need to do. I don't know why I'm scared of a boat there, to be perfectly honest. I'm guessing the boat looked to be funny. But, yeah. Kaede, like, now that his portions are done, I don't know what I can really else I can say that's like I'm trying to think of something redeeming to really say about her gameplay, and there is something here. There are some cool elements here, especially the fact that as a ninja character they could have done a lot more with her. There is potential here, but sadly, this is pretty much the last time you see Kaede, except for Onimusha Blade Warriors, where she's a playable character, because she isn't in Onimusha 2, spoiler warning, and she isn't in Onimusha 3. So. But she finds Samanosuke trapped here with the bugs. Notice he's got the normal sword equipped. I didn't equip him with the normal sword. The game's lore insists on Samanosuke equipping his normal sword for most of these encounters, and in CGIs, he's always using his normal katana. When it's like, dude, you have the Oni weapons. Just use the Oni weapons. But we find some explosives outside the fort now. Call it a hunch, but I think those won't be there much longer. So we got Samanosuke and his bug brethren. He just kind of vibing, you know. They're kind of posing, like pose for the camera, but they back off now as if there's a bit little timid. And yeah, Samanosuke's got Ryzen equipped again now. Like he can't make his mind up on what weapon he wants to use. And yeah, here is our boss for this section of the game. I'm gonna call her Nui because that's the human name she gave, and I do believe Nui might be the name of a demon in some mythology, but. Yeah, she's here just to chat shit and just say, yes, we're going to, we're going to eat Yumimaru, and, Princess Yuki's going to watch him die, and then we're going to drink her blood from the skull, and it's going to be great. Yeah, all that dark demon shit. If you sacrifice in front of her, sorrow will peak. They have this obsession about sorrow being, like, nourishing, and, demons kind of just come across as, like, internet trolls at some point, so it's like, haha, you mad bro, oh, that's your tears are delicious, sort of thing. But yeah, I really wish I'm just sucks that we didn't get the audio on that one, because I love Samanosuke delivering that line. He's like, you will suffer that. Is that what you took them? He just gets all like very, this is unacceptable, I won't be having this. So yeah, so for this boss fight we have Nui. Least favorite boss fight in the game, for a simple reason of the boss itself, it just doesn't really do much. It is just Mook Rush, this level. And I hate Mook Rush in video games. Like, I think it's one of the laziest boss designs you can come up with, is that, we can't design an interesting boss, so we'll just spam Mooks at you. Never really enjoyed this, unless there's, like, a good puzzle you can do with the Mooks. So, for example, let's say you beat the boss, and they have, like, a period where you've got to do a puzzle. Like, when there's a boss fight and you've got to do a puzzle and you've got to do, like, navigation to complete this puzzle. If they throw mooks at you to stop you, to halt you a bit, I can understand that. I can tolerate it. It's still not my favourite kind of game to like fight a boss fight, where it's just a simple one-on-one confrontation where they get new attacks as the fight goes on, for example. That's always, I think, the preferred option, but... Anyway, with the match lock we got earlier, this is pretty much the best way to deal with this boss, is get a bunch of burst bullets and just go to town on her. Because the burst bullets have an obscene amount of range. Like, look at this. Yeah, I shoot one guy, hits the guy behind him who's nowhere near him, and it's one shot, one kill. So, using burst bullets on her, very decent amount of damage, and will also take care of a lot of the lower little dudes as well at the same time. And yeah, this is just pretty much, you just stand there, take some damage, and hope the target, I mean, there you go, burst bullets there doing their job, but you just hopefully keep there shooting. I get a bit unlucky with the rotation on this boss, because of how she's, like, flying up, it's actually quite difficult to aim properly and hit her, which is quite annoying. It's the biggest pain in the arse with boss, and because she doesn't, like, fall down, it's pretty difficult to actually consistently land hits on her. If you didn't pick up the matchlock, she'd actually be a major pain in the butt, which is why I always, like I say, always make sure you get the matchlock, because it's missable, and you don't want to miss it specifically for this boss fight, because the only other way you can really do damage to her is wait till she comes down for an attack and then hit her with Oni magic. But with the matchlock, doesn't really matter. You can just keep blasting her, and she just doesn't know what to do. I think she's kind of like, this absolutely kills, and I'm not sure what you're firing at me. But she goes down. easy boss. Like, just it's more of just avoid the minion. Again, the minions are really the threat there. She has some attacks and do some damage, but it doesn't really matter. Kaede ignites the gunpowder because she's a terrorist in disguise, I suppose. But at the end of the day, we have to make a dramatic anime escape or action escape. I don't know anime escape. I guess this is kind of like Matrix dodge, but I don't know why I'm coming out with anime for it. It's generic action movie escape, but Summonosuke has to turn around and look at the demon who's been damaged. I don't know why he turns around. You'd think he'd just be like, oh, I'll just carry on, I guess, but no, he turns around because he hears a shriek, and then he's like looking at her for a few minutes. So like Summonosuke is showing some form of compassion to her, or I don't know. Maybe want to turn around and do the Dark Souls point down emote. I don't know, but he does turn around for a bit and show her some form of compassion, I suppose. So we end up washed up on the beach. Now, for some unknown reason, Kaede is completely conked out. Don't really know why, if she hit her head or something, where she jumped out or whatnot, but yeah, she's very very tired. She's had a very rough day, but yeah, we've done what we needed to do with her. She's done great. So Summonosuke is now going to find somewhere to put her to rest, and so she can recuperate and get her energy back. But of course, there's only one room in the keep that will allow for such an action, and of course, it's this same room, this goddamn room. This is like the only safe room in the entire keep. There's been no demons that have come through, no demons that have attacked, except for Nui, where they came and had that brief skirmish. But like, you could chill in here for like ages. The demons don't seem to want to come in here to deal with anybody. So it's crazy. It's like, imagine just like, just chilling in here with like, some food and supplies, and yet the demons don't seem to want to come in here. Like, it's actually crazy. But in a bit of a risky maneuver, because Summonosuke doesn't have much choice. Like, he has to leave her here. He can't really do much, and he ends up like realizing this has gone on for far too long. I need to do something. This nightmare must end now. But unfortunately for Summonosuke, little does he know that I am in control of his actions and decisions, and we're not going to be going to the demon world just yet. We've got some unfinished business to do in the form of an optional side quest, which is more important than saving Yumemaru and Princess Yuki. As the ancient tablet said, if it was to save the world or optional side quests, then you shall pick optional side quests all the time. But we have like a choice now. Like I said, we go to the Dark Realm or the Demon World. The Demon World, if you end up going through the door, you can't go back. So if you haven't done the Dark Realm yet, this is your last opportunity to do so. And I'm sitting here looking at my supplies right now, seeing if I can actually have enough healing items and stuff to deal with the Dark Realm. Because the Dark Realm is, again, it's a gauntlet of 20 enemies, and not only is it like difficult enemies you're fighting a lot of the time, it's also difficult enemies grouped together that normally wouldn't be in the game. So you will have like ogres combined with like the stealth warriors. It can lead to some nasty combinations in the Dark Realm. And I don't know why I slapped this guy. I guess I was just feeling a bit rude and thought, filthy Genma can't live. I'll just lightning stab him. So I did, but I could have easily left him to his own devices and it wouldn't have harmed anybody because everyone's dead. But no, I just couldn't let him live, apparently. So we get into the end of the part here. I'm just preparing myself for the Demon Realm at this point and just saving my game for the last time. Kaede says 30 saves I've done because of all the running about and stuff. But yeah, like, this is the end of the part, to be honest, because I'm just gonna be leading myself up to talking about the Demon Realm and what we need to do and stuff. But of course, with that, the post recording now being present, I have to talk to you in post, so I didn't get to. You don't get to hear what I was saying during post commentary. So this has been the last episode of post commentary. The next episode, I believe, that would have been recorded has been recorded fine. I managed to sort out the audio issue and what I'd done wrong there for OBS, so lesson learned on that regard. But Onimusha Part 6 is over. I'd like to thank you all for watching, and in the next part, we will be taking on the Demon Realm, the Dark Realm, to get a very particular item that will make the last boss or the last area a lot easier, and I'm looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to you guys watching it. So take care, and I'll see you in the next episode.